Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space. Hope you enjoy. Story number 1. Stop sending heroes, otherwise I'll send one of my own. Written by Random 3X. The High Bishop massaged his temples, hoping to the gods above to relieve him of the headache he was enduring of late. He was dealing with the aftermath of an uproar within the church and the theocracy's leadership as a whole. They had sent no less than a dozen separate groups of heroes to slay the ruler of the Dark Continent, the Dark Lord Herodrum. They had already gone through the entire class of promising hero candidates from the theocracy's orphanage. The High Bishop was genuinely struck with what to do. To make matters worse, he had just gotten free from an inquisitorial investigation for suspicion of providing the Dark Lord as soldiers. Resolving himself to continue to prove his loyalty, he dove back into looking over a batch of documents from one of the Paladin orders. Before he could even begin to make any progress, a knock came on his office door. "My lord," a servant drew his attention, looking worried. "What is it, beastling?" The High Bishop shot back. He was still seething. He had all his pure-blooded human servants confiscated and, in their place, been given a lowly beastling for a servant. "1,000 apologies, my lord, but a messenger has arrived from the Dark Continent. They carry the Dark Lord's seal," the diminutive beastling explained while repeatedly bowing its head. "A messenger? Anyone of note?" the High Bishop asked. "I believe they self-identified as you, Ironforge," the beastling answered again, bowing his head. "Ah, they've sent one of the heirs to the Wrath Seat. Send him in," the High Bishop said, putting his pen down on his desk with a loud tap. A few minutes later, there was a new knock at the door. "Enter," the bishop's voice boomed. The doors were open, and a girl who looked no older than the High Bishop's own daughter walked in. The girl stopped a few paces from his desk, held her right hand to her chest, and bowed. He was surprised he was always under the impression that you, Ironforge, was a male. "A knight's bow," the High Bishop muttered under his breath, curious as to why a woman would use such a greeting. "Greetings, my lord. I come bearing a message for the theocracy from the current ruling Dark Lord, His Most August Majesty, Dark Lord Herodrum," she began after rising from her bow. "What is the message, and shouldn't it be addressed to Her Ladyship, the Pope?" he asked. "Well, it isn't the Pope sending assassins. The Dark Lord felt it best to deliver the message to the man sending them," she answered with a cheery grin. "Assassins?" the High Bishop near screeched as he rose and knocked the stack of documents off his desk. Never had he had his honors so insulted. "I have not sent assassins, as you so ignorantly put it. I have been sending heroes to do God's work," he scoffed. The little girl had the same kind of attitude his daughter had. "Oh, I got something for this one," she said, holding up a finger to try and pause the conversation. Working through her bag, she shuffled through a few pages of paper. "Ah, here it is," she said, holding out a small square. "Ahem," she cleared her throat at first. The High Bishop, however, was frozen by the audacity of what he was witnessing. "Perhaps this is an issue with language between our continents. It seems you believe a trained special warrior sent to eliminate the head of state is not an assassin, and end quote," she said, putting the paper back down with a big grin. "Such insolence!" the High Bishop screamed, slamming his desk with his fists, knocking what few documents remained neatly ordered over the edge. "What has happened to the heroes we have been sending?" he asked with a near-feral snarl. One sec," she said again, and was sifting through the pages. Okay. Of the 13 assassins sent over the past 2 years, 4 have been summarily executed." She paused, as the High Bishop's face dropped from the rage to utter despair. "Executed?" he repeated, not wanting to believe the children he had raised himself were dead. "Yes, it says here that they killed guards or civilians during their infiltration, so they were charged and sentenced for the murders. You explained, miming a hanging. The next 4 were remanded to hard labor. Their attempts were stopped by either the Royal Guard or the Dark Lord himself, so there was no loss of life. They will serve the remainder of their natural lives working one of my father's mines, she explained, pausing to let the High Bishop absorb this information. And the remaining... Wait. Earlier you said 13. The High Bishop began before changing track. Yes, it seems one of your... heroes acquired the help of a citizen from our land, she explained. The remainder have been taken in as wards of the Dark Lord himself. She gave a conspiratorial wink while shielding her mouth as if sharing some juicy gossip. Haradrim is a bit of a softie between you and me. The High Bishop could only slump in his chair. His children, the very kids he considered his own, were either dead or in such torturous hell. Such death would be welcome. He could only shudder at what Haradrim must be doing to the ones he didn't imprison. Is that all? He meekly said, not looking at you. Yes, sir. Though this one will be a direct letter from Haradrim himself. It is rather scathing, if I do say so, she said, holding up a letter with a broken wax seal. The High Bishop didn't even have the energy to rage at this break in etiquette. He just gave a limp gesture with his right hand. She handed him the letter and retreated a few steps. Dearest High Bishop Smeltier, I hope you're doing well. I myself am doing excellently. We have a few new exceptional labor pool added to our mining industry, and I've recently adopted many new children. For this gift, I must thank you from the depths of my new father's heart. I will say, though, that the manner with which your gift of laborers approached me left much to be desired. Many assumed the role to be that of murder. However, I shan't fault you for this. Such is the way with the youthful, not heeding the orders of the elders and such. I will add, though, if you feel the need to persist in sending me new laborers, I'll feel obliged to return the favor. However, I assure you of this, one will certainly suffice. I will finish this letter with an observation from what my new children have told me about you, that if you have ever had a bright idea, it quickly died alone and hungry. Yours sincerely, the Dark Lord Haradrim. End of story. Story number 2. What horrors lurk in the minds of humans? Written by Tanya Sapien. My name is High Inquisitor Adamant Ferrasung. I'm here to warn new recruits, as you all will be likely encountering humans in the field. Many of you know me for my unrivaled psionic abilities. I have been heralded for being able to kill or spare with nothing but a glance. I've toppled buildings with nothing more but a scream. Yet, know this, even I take precautions when entering a mind of a human. Many people think humans are defenseless against mental attacks because their brains lack the needed structures. In fact, many humans are defenseless. Politicians, the wealthy elite, comfortable scientists. These are the humans most meet because they travel the most. They explore the stars. These humans don't know pain. They are easy to toy with. Their minds are like putty to our kind. But humans have a unique reaction to pain. They do more than build up resistance. They build up an immune response to it. A skilled eye can see it in their stars, in their gaze, in the structure of their bodies. No, that as twisted as their bodies begin to look after too much pain, their minds twist threefold more. As field agents, you won't be meeting politicians. You'll be meeting the twisted. You'll be meeting the soldiers, the slaves, the criminals, and the victims of such. That type of human has a mind like a hellscape. Every negative act, every regret, every dark thing they've done or seen will play on repeat. It's like a primal part of their survival response refuses to ever let them forget any time that they came close to that looming specter of death that sits so comfortably in their subconscious. This masochistic self-punishment can grab an unprepared telepath and drag them in, drag them down, force them to take part in the macabre dance. During my career, I've had to rescue 3 different agents this way. None of those 3 were enemy combatants. They were refugees. The agents only wanted to help, and were instead pulled into their traumas that created those refugees in the first place. Each of these 3 have been removed from field duty and will need therapy for the rest of their lives for what they saw inside the human minds. A human's greatest enemy is themselves, and when you enter into their mind, you have to fight it too. Never forget that. End of story. I would quickly like to thank the T5 channel members and Patreons. Casper Arnholtz, Cam Maxwell, Barky, Lord Azrakal, It's Difficult to Pronounce, Dragzoon WRE, Holly's Sister, Arcadian. Thank you very much.